Hi, welcome back to another exciting Spring Boot mini project. In this project, we are going to create a beautiful portfolio website using Thymeleaf, Spring Boot, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This is the part third in this playlist. In case if you missed the previous projects, I drop a link in the description section of this video. Go ahead and check the playlist. The application is started on the port localhost 9090, and in the landing page, this is the landing page the application looks like. On the very top, we have this hero section which is having a call to action buttons, and in the right hand side we have the profile picture, and we have this about section and project section, experience which is in timeline format, and achievements with the beautiful icons, and the contact form, also few options where you can reach out the developer, and at the bottom we have the footer with a copyright content. This is the portfolio website that we are going to create. This is very beautiful, and if you reload this you will see this beautiful loader as well, and this website is completely mobile responsive. Let's view this in the mobile, and you can see it's completely mobile responsive. Beautiful. And we have this form which is completely functional. I'm going to just fill out this form. Test at gmail.com and some text. Click on this send message. This will send the message to the concerned person, and just click go back, and if you open the inbox we should see this new form submission. Click on this, you will see the message. Perfect. This is the portfolio website that we are going to create, and this is going to be a fun and interesting. You will learn a lot of things. You will learn about the Thymeleaf fragments, how you can reference to the external CSS files, and how we can create these beautiful forms, everything. In case if you're looking for the source code, I drop a link in the description section of this video. Go ahead and grab the source code for your reference. With this, let's get started. The first step is to create the Spring Boot project. To create the Spring Boot project, head over to Spring Initializer, start.spring.io, where you will find the Spring Initializer tool. Here we need to add the metadata details, the project name, project type, the language, and Spring Boot version, and the artifact ID and group ID. All this information we have to enter. I'm going to select the project type Maven, language Java, and the Spring Boot version. The default version I'm going to keep it, which is 3.5.0. At the time of this recording, this is the latest and stable version. The group ID, I'll change this to in.bhushan sirgur. Artifact ID, portfolio, and description I'll just leave as it is. The package name, it is nothing but the combination of group ID and artifact ID. I'll just leave it as it is. The packaging jar, the Java version 21 I'm going to select. Let's add the dependencies, the web dependency, and we need the Thymeleaf template engine, and I'm going to also add the dev tools. That's it. These three dependencies is enough. Just go ahead and click on this generate. This will download the zip file. We need to extract this and open it inside the IDE. Let's do that. Okay, I have opened the project inside the IntelliJ IDEA. You can use the STS, Eclipse, or even Visual Studio Code for this. First, let's open the pom.xml, and if you scroll down, you will see all the dependencies, the Thymeleaf dependency, web dependency, and the dev tools. And additionally, we would also see this test dependency. We can get rid of this. This is added by Spring Initializer. Let's remove this, and inside the src and under the test, we have this class. We can just delete this class. Perfect. And I'm going to reload the Maven changes. Okay, next I'm just going to create a few folders inside the resources, we have this static folder. Under this I'm going to create a new directory, CSS, and next I'm going to create a one more directory, JS, and let's create a one more directory which is images. Perfect. Next I'm going to just open the application.properties file. Inside the resources application.properties file, I'm going to just get rid of this property and save this, and I'm going to close this pom.xml, and under the source main Java we have this default package. Under this default or base package I'm going to create a one more package, controller, and let's create a class home controller. Let's add the annotation. I'm going to mark this as controller, create a handler method public. This is going to render the home page, so I'm going to return a string, public string show home page. Let's add the annotation. This is going to be a get mapping, HTTP get request, so I'll add the get mapping, and I will add the URI paths. This can be a empty string or slash or even slash home. For any of this handler method will be executed. Inside this I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to just return the view name home. Let's save this. Now we need to create a view with a name home. Let's open the project explorer. Under the templates folder, let's create a new HTML file, home.html. I'm going to just change the title, Bhushan Sirgur, personal portfolio. Let me add the heading tag, my portfolio. Let's save this. Now let's open the main class. Let me start the application. The application is started on the port 8080. Let's go to the browser. Navigate to localhost 8080. We should see the text my portfolio. Let me increase the browser window. Okay, super. Next, what we need to do is we need to start designing our application. We start designing the content. Before that, first we need to add the fonts, the custom font. Let's go to the Google font. Click on the first link and search for Urbanist, and this is the font that we are going to use. Just click on this and click on this get font, and we have two fonts selected, Outfit and Urbanist. I'm going to delete the Outfit and the Urbanist. Let's click on this get embed code and select the web version and make sure to select the link option, and we need to copy all these. So let's copy this and head over to the IntelliJ. Inside the home.html, just below this, I'm going to add the code and save this. Next, we need to create a custom CSS file. Let's open the static folder. Inside this, we have the CSS folder. Create a new file, that is style.css. Inside this, let's add the body tag, and for the body, let's add font family, Urbanist If it is not present, then we are going to use sans serif. Let's save this. Let's go to the browser, and we need to also configure the DevTools. We have added the DevTools. Let's go to the IntelliJ settings and click on this build execution and deployment, and click on this compiler. Click on this build project automatically, and also go to the advanced settings, and there is one more option, automatically download the sources, and also yes, this one you should be checked. In case if it is not checked, allow automake to start even if the developer application is currently running. So click apply and click OK. That's it. So now just one last time I'm going to stop and I'm going to restart it. Now let's go to the browser, reload this. We should see the changes, the font style that has been changes, but it is not reflecting. Looks like we made some mistake. Font family, body. Let me copy this font and I will add it here. Save this. Okay, we forgot to reference the style.css inside our HTML. That is why. No problem. Let's go to the, we are inside this home.html. I'll just below this, I'm going to reference to the style.css. Which is present inside the CSS folder /css/style.css. With this, let me save the file. And now if you open the browser, just reload this. We should see the style that has applied to our html.page. Alright, from here we can start adding few more content, and also we can start referencing to the other CSS files. Next, I'm going to reference to the Font Awesome library for the icons. Let's go to the browser, open a new tab and search for Font Awesome Free Icons CDN, and scroll down. Select the second link from CDN.js, and the latest version is 6.7.2, and select the first link, all.minified.css. This is the file that we are going to copy. So just copy this entire link tag and open the IntelliJ, and just below this meta, paste it. I'm going to just bring this to the next line. Okay, next I'm going to add one more line which is related to viewport, because we wanted to make this as a responsive. So for that, let's add meta name is equal to viewport, content width is equal to device width, initial scale is equal to 1.0. Okay, next we have already referenced to the Font Awesome, and we have already referenced to our style.css. Perfect. Next, but what I'll do is I'm going to just move this title. Let me cut this, and I'm going to move this title just below this meta, and these are the CSS file references. Perfect. Next, inside our style.css, what I'll do is I'm going to add few styling. So just above this, I'm going to add a primary color, secondary color, accent color, dark color and darker color, light color, text color and text light, success color. All these I'm going to already decided for my website. or my portfolio. So I'm going to add these colors. Go ahead and feel free to change the colors as per your needs. Okay, next I'm going to also apply few styling for the entire web page. So for that I'm going to add margin 0, padding I'm going to make it 0, and box sizing border box, and also I'm going to add the selection. Let's add background. We're going to use the colors which we have defined at the top. So we can use this var method, and for this var method we are going to use the variable names, which is accent color. Basically the above that what we have created, these are nothing but the variables, and we can use these variables anywhere in throughout our application, throughout our CSS file. Just we can call this var function. Next I'm going to add the color as well, light color. Save this. Next, also for the body I'm going to apply few more styling, that is background, darker color. Next, the color I'm going to apply, which is, let me add the color which is text color, and also I'm going to add the line height 1.6, overflow, horizontal overflow I'm going to make it as hidden, and save this. Also I'm going to add h1, h2 for all of the headings. I'm going to set the font weight h5 and h6. Font weight 700. Let's save this and let's go to the browser and reload this. Okay, the application is not started, so let's start the application and open the browser. Just reload this. You can see we got the darker color as a background, and also we have set the font 700, the font weight for all the headings tag, and you can see that. Perfect. All right, so next what we need to do is we need to add a few more styling to our application. So let's go back to our IntelliJ, and for the anchor tag I'm going to apply the styling. That is, first of all, the text decoration I'm going to make it as none. I don't want the underlines, so I'm going to set it to none. Next I'm going to add the color, text color. Next, transition I'm going to add on hover of any of the anchor tags. I'll just add the animations or the transitions 0.3 seconds ease, and save this. Alright, now let's open our home.html, and inside this home.html, first of all I'm going to get rid of this h1 tag, and what I'll do is I'm going to just add a comment. We need to load the animation, loading animation. Below this I'm going to just add the animations. Whenever we load the application, we are going to add that animation. So to do that, we can completely add the content here just inside this, below this. But what we can do is, instead of adding everything inside this, in this one page, we can create a fragments. Okay, so first what we will do is we are going to add that content, the loaders, then later we are going to move that loader inside the fragments. So first of all, what I'll do is I'm going to create a div with a class loader wrapper. Under this, I'm going to create a one more div with a class loader, and inside this loader, let's create a div with a class loader text. I'm going to add my initial, my name initial. If you go back to our design, and whenever I reload this, you will see this, right? The loading symbol. We are trying to replicate it. So what I'll do is I'm going to just add my initial, which is b.s. which is nothing but Bhushan Serigur. And next, what I'll do is I'm going to create a div with a class loader circle. Just copy this and paste it 3 times, because whenever I reload this, you will see this reloading, right? So for that, I'm going to adding these divs. Now we can go ahead and start apply styling to these classes. So let's go to the style.css. Let me create some white space. All right. Now, first of all, let's go to the home.html. We need to add styling to this loader wrapper, right? So let's go to the, I'm going to just add a comment, loading animation. This is the class that we wanted to apply. Next, first of all, I'm going to set the position to fixed, and top I'm going to set it to 0, left I'm going to set it to 0, and also width 100%, height 100%, background I'm going to provide the color, which is darker color, display flex, justify content center. Next, align items center, z index I'm going to just add the higher number and save this. Next, let's go to the browser. Nothing changes we will see, but whenever I reload this, you can see now it is just in the middle. Okay, so now we wanted to add some animation to it, right? Fine, let's go back to our IntelliJ, and now if you open the home.html, we have this loader. Now let's start applying style to this loader. Loader position, I'm going to set this to relative, width 200 pixel, height 200 pixel. Perfect. Next, if I open the home.html, we have this loader text. So let's apply styling to our loader text. Loader hyphen text. Inside this, I'm going to set the position to absolute, top 50%, left 50%, and transform. So let's add translate -50%, -50%. Font size I'm going to set, which is 1.5, and font weight I'm going to set this to 700. Color, we can use the variable which is light color, and Z index 2, and save this. Now let's go to the browser and reload this. You can see we have applied the styling to our text, right? Next we can start applying styling to our circle. If you go to the home.html, we have this loader circle, so we can start applying to this loader circle. So let's go to the style.css and loader circle, position absolute top 0, left 0, width 100%, height 100%, border radius 50%, border 4 pixel, solid, transparent, border top color. I'll add the color through the variables, which is primary color. Animation, I want the spinner, so spin 1.5 seconds, linear, infinite. This should be keep on looping, so that's why I'll add the infinite. I'll also add loader circle. I'm going to use the nth child because I wanted to target for all of this. So we're going to use the not all of this. I wanted to basically target this second one, that is why. And for this I'm going to just add the border color, because if you go back to our original page and if you reload this, you will see a different colors, right? So that is what. And I'm going to add border top color. We can use the variable which is secondary color. Also I'm going to add the animation, the duration, which is going to be 2 seconds. Similarly, we are going to add for one more div, which is third one. Oops. And here I'm going to add the color to accent color, and this is going to be 2.5 seconds, and save this. Next, okay, with this, if you go back to the browser and when I reload this, you will see it will be stuck here, right? We want it to be keep reloading, it will be spinning. So for that, let's go back and we can add a keyframes. So what I'll do is I'm going to just add @ keyframes spin 0%, transform rotate 0 degree, 100%, transform rotate 360 degree. Save this. This is going to be spin, not sping. Let's save this, and if you go to the browser and reload this, you can see it will be loading. Awesome. This should matches our original. Let's go back and verify it for our original page. You can see perfect. Alright, so now from here we can go ahead and start adding the content. I want this to be hide after 2 seconds. So for that, let's add a few script. Let's go back to our IntelliJ, and inside the JS folder I'm going to create a new file, script.js. Inside this, let's quickly, before that, inside our home.html, just before closing the body tag, let's add the script which is present inside the /js /script.js. Perfect. Next, let's go to the script.js. Inside this, we can quickly add the script. So this is for loading animation, window.add event listener, when the application is loaded, I want to add a script. So this is going to be a callback function. Inside this, let's use this set timeout. We can pass the milliseconds, the 2000 milliseconds, which is nothing but 2 seconds. Inside this, we can use document.query selector. We're going to use the class which is loader wrapper, which is nothing but this. I'm going to apply .style .opacity. I'll set this to 0. Next, I'll also again add set timeout. This is going to be 500 milliseconds, which is half a second. Document.query selector. We're going to select the class loader wrapper. Style.opacity, we're going to set this to none. Let's save this, and with this, now let me save this. Before that, let's go to the home.html. Here I'll just add, after this div, I'm going to just add h1 tag hello, and save this. And if you go to the browser, let me reload this. After this, okay, you can see after this reload, we can see this text hello. So whenever I reload the web page, we will see this loader, and after 2 milliseconds, which is nothing but 2 seconds, we should see this text hello. Perfect. Okay, now let's go back to our IntelliJ. So let's go to our IntelliJ, and what we can do is we can move this entire part into a separate fragment. So in Thymeleaf, we can create the fragments. Instead of adding all the contents inside this one home.html page, we can create pages, and those pages we can reference it here. So if we make like that, later in the future, if you wanted to reuse those fragments or reuse those pages anywhere else in our application, we can use it. To do that, let's open the Project Explorer. Under the templates folder, I'm going to create a new directory, fragments. Under the fragments, create a new HTML file. This is going to be loader.html. So we can move that entire part inside this loader.html. So I'm going to just increase the font. Before that, I'm going to just add few things, which is doc type HTML, and I will also add the HTML tag, and let's add the namespace, the Thymeleaf namespace. http://www.thymeleaf.org. Inside this, let's add the Thymeleaf block. So, and to this we can provide the fragment name. I'm going to call this as loader, and inside this we can add our content. Let's go to the home.html. So let's cut this entire part and paste it. Perfect. Let's save this. Now inside our home.html, we can use the Thymeleaf replace attribute. Replace. Okay, before that, at the top we have to make use of the namespace. So I'll just go to the loader.html and copy this namespace and paste it. Now here I can add the fragment. So let's use tilde and fragment slash, because our HTML page is, the fragments is present inside the folder called fragments. So let's add fragments slash the file name, which is nothing but loader, and we need to provide the fragment name, which is loader. If you open the loader.html, we created the fragment with a name loader, and the same name we are going to add it here. Perfect. Now let's save this, and if you go to the browser, let me actually reload this. Let's reload a few more times. Boom, we can see the text. Okay, so now we have moved our content to a separate file, which is nothing but the fragment. We call it as Thymeleaf fragments. All right, so next we can continue adding the other content. Next, what we need to add is, let's go back to our original website, and you can see there is a background animation, not the animation, the background elements are there, right? We wanted to add those. Okay, those are all nothing but the floating shapes, so we're going to add those things. So let's go back to our IntelliJ, and before that I'm going to just add comment here, custom script file, and next what we need to do is just get rid of this heading tag, and we are going to create a div. And first of all, I'm going to just make a comment, background shapes, let's create a div with a class floating shape, shape1, copy this and paste it multiple times, and we're going to change this to shape2 and shape3. This is going to be floating shape, so let's correct it. Okay, so now we have created these divs. Now we can start applying style to these classes. Let's go to our style.css, and just below this I'm going to just make a comment, floating elements, floating shape. So we have this floating shape. For this I'm going to add the position absolute, border radius 50%, filter blur 80 pixel, opacity 0.15, z index 1. So now we have added styling for this floating shape. So if you go to the floating shape, we have added the styling. Now we have to add styling to our shape 1, shape 2 and shape 3. So let's go back to our style.css, shape 1, background, I'm going to use the variable for the color, primary color, width 300 pixel, height 300 pixel, top 10% and left minus 100 pixel. So let's save this. If you go to the browser, let me reload this. You can see we got this box. Okay, so we have to do similarly we have to also add to all of these all of the shapes. Let's go back and now let's apply for shape 2. Let's add the background. We will use the color, which is primary color, sorry, not the primary color. For the shape 2, we're going to add the secondary color. Let's add the width 400 pixel, height 400 pixel, top 60%, right minus 150 pixel. Let's also add for shape 3. I'm going to basically just copy this and paste it. Let's change the background color to accent, width which is going to be 250 pixel and height 250 pixel, and also we don't need this top, so let's get rid of this. Instead we need the bottom 10% and we need the left which is going to be 10%. Save this. Now let's go to the browser and reload this. You can see these 3 blocks, right? Super. Next, what we need to do is let's go to our IntelliJ, and here let's add few more styling. Before that, what I'll do is now we can start creating this header. So let's go back to our IntelliJ. We're going to create a new fragment. Under the fragments folder, create a new file. This is going to be header.html. Let's go to the loader.html. I'm going to copy the first 3 lines and paste it. I'm going to close this Thymeleaf block and also the HTML. Inside this, I'm going to just change this fragment name to site header. Inside this, let's make use of the header to create the header. I'm going to add a class header. Inside this, create a div with a class container header container. And inside this, I'm going to create a div with a class logo. I'm going to add the text b dot, and also I'm going to add a span tag. And within the span, let's add s dot. And next, I'm going to create a nav bar. So using the nav element, I'm going to add the class nav. And inside this, let's create a div with a class nav links. And below this, let's add the anchor tag. I'm going to add about. Let's add the class nav link. Let's add the text about. So copy this and paste it multiple times, and we can change hash about to projects. This is going to be projects. Next, this is going to be experience. Change the text to experience, and this is going to be achievements. This is also going to be an achievements. This is going to be contact. Perfect. Now let's save this. We have to reference this fragments inside our home.html. So before that, I'm going to get rid of this hello, and I'm going to just add the comment for this script tag, custom script. And also I'm going to add one more comment, that is for the header. Right, so we can just copy this and paste it, and this is going to be slash fragments slash header. Let's make it header, and this is going to be site header. If you remember, we have added this fragment name site header, and the same name we are adding it here as the fragment name, and the file name, which is header.html. Let's save this. With this, we can view the changes inside our browser. Of course, we haven't added any of these stylings, but let's see how it looks in the browser. Let's go back and reload this. You can see about, projects, experience, achievements, and contact. Okay, with this now we can start applying styling to these content. Let's go back to our IntelliJ and open the style.css. I'm going to just add the comment header section just for the reference. So now we can start adding, first of all, for this header class, let's add the style. So header padding to rem and 0, which is nothing but the top and bottom. Next, position fixed, width 100%, top 0, left 0, z index 100, transition 0.3 seconds is. Next, header dot scrolled. Whenever we scroll this, we are going to add this. Background, we're going to add the RGBA color 5, 5, 16, 0.9. This is going to be background. And next, backdrop filter we are going to add, which is blur 10 pixel, box shadow 10 pixel, 30 pixel, and the RGBA color, which is 0, 0, 0.1. Padding 1 rem 0. Next, let's also add header container. If you go back to our header.html, we have this header container. So let's start applying style to this header container. Display flex, justify content, which is nothing but space between, align items, center. Save this. Now if you go to the browser and if you reload this, you can see it has been moved to the right hand side, the items, the menu items, and the logo at the left hand side. Perfect. Now we can start adding for logo, the designing for logo. If you go to the header.html, we have this logo. So let's add the styling. Font size 1.8 rem, font weight 700, color, let's add the light color, position relative, and also we have this span tag after this logo. So if you go to the header.html, you can see we have this span. So let's add styling to this span tag as well. Background linear gradient to right, and for the right side let's add the primary color. Accent color. WebKit background clip, let's make it text. Background clip, which is also a text. Color transparent, and save this. Let's go to the browser and reload this. Let's reload this. You can see now we have this nice styling for this logo. And now let's go back to our IntelliJ. I'm going to just add logo after contain, sorry, this is going to be content, an empty string, position absolute, width 40 pixel, height 3 pixel, background linear gradient, to right we can use the color, the primary color and accent color. Bottom -5 pixel, left 0. Save this, and if you go to the browser, just reload this. You can see we get this underline for this, right, for the logo. Perfect. Next we need to start applying for this nav links. So if you go to the header.html, we have this navigation links. So let's start applying to this. Let me scroll down and let's add display flex gap of 2.5 rem. Next, nav link. Okay, this is going to be nav links actually. And font size 1 rem, font weight 500, letter spacing 1 pixel, position relative, padding 0.5 rem 0. Also nav link after we're going to add, this is going to be content and empty string, position absolute, bottom 0, left 0, width 0, height 2 pixel, background, let me copy that linear gradient. So just copy this, paste it. So this is going to be a primary color and accent color. Next, transition width 0.3 seconds is nav link on hover. After we're going to add few styling. So before that, let's go back to our browser, and if you reload this, you will see changes so far what we have made. Let me reload this again. You can see now we have a nice gap between the items. Perfect. Now, so let's start adding nav link hover. After we are going to add width to 100%. Instead of typing the styles line by line, I have already added the entire CSS. I'll just copy it and I'll paste it here. You can find the CSS file in the description section of this video. Go ahead and download it. Also, I'm going to just copy the script.js file contents and I'll paste it. So we can save some time and we can just focus on creating the content. Super. Now with this changes, if you go to the browser and let me reload this, you can see now we have a nice header, and from here we can start adding the hero content, projects, achievements, all other sections. We can start creating it. Now let's create a new file, hero.html. We can add the hero section. So let's make it as a fragment. Let's go to the IntelliJ and inside the project explorer, under the fragments folder, create a new file, hero.html, and go to the header.html and copy the first 3 lines and paste it. Let's close the HTML as well. And inside this, let's make use of the section element, add the class hero, and let's add the ID home. Inside the section, let's create a one more div with a class hero background, and I'm going to create a one more div with a class container and hero container. Inside this, let's create one more div which is hero content. Under this, create a div with a class hero greeting. I'm going to add the text, hi there, I am. Below this, let's create the h1 tag. I'm going to add the class which is hero title. I'm going to add the span within that, and I'm going to add the class gradient text Bhushan Sirgur. Feel free to change the names as per your requirements. So let's create the h2 tag and I'll add the class hero subtitle. I'll add the text developer, mentor, teacher, and YouTuber. Perfect. Next, I'm going to create a paragraph with the class hero description, and let's go back to our original website, and I'm going to just copy this entire text and I'll paste it. Perfect. And below this paragraph, I'm going to create a div with a class hero buttons, and let me save this and let's verify how it looks in the browser. So let me reload this. Okay, this is because we haven't referenced our fragment inside our home.html. So let's reference it as well. I'm going to just copy this and I'm going to change the comment to heroes section. Slash fragments slash, this is going to be hero and this is going to be, let's go back to our hero.html. We have given it as, okay, we have given this hero section. This is the fragment name, hero section. Let's save this, and in the browser, when we reload this, we should see the changes. Let's reload it again. Perfect. We have a nice hero section and we have added the content for the left hand side, and we had to add few more content. I mean, like we have to add the buttons, and the right hand side we have to add the image. let's go back to our IntelliJ inside our hero.html. Let's add the buttons. This is going to be /projects. Let's add the class btn primary, and within this I'm going to add the text view my work. I'm going to add the font awesome icon, FA arrow right. Let's copy the same, paste it. This is going to be contact. This is going to be btn outline, and this is going to be get in touch. Save this. Next, after these buttons, so if I go back and when I reload this, we should see the two buttons, the view my work and get in touch. Perfect. Next, after this div, I'm going to add one more div for the social media icons, social links. I'm going to add the anchor tag, and I'm going to add the mobile number +91. This is not my number, so just I'm going to add a random mobile number. Social link, this is the class that we're going to add, and inside this I'm going to add the font awesome icon, phone alt. Let's copy the same and paste it multiple times, and we can change this to email. Mail to. Let's add my email address. This is my original email address. You can email me if you want, and this is going to be envelope. And next we need to add our LinkedIn social media profile. www.linkedin.com/in/bhushan.sc, and I'm going to add the target blank, and I'm going to add the icon, change this to FA LinkedIn -in, and similarly the last href I'm going to change it to my GitHub profile. github.com/scbhushan05, and the target I'll set this to blank, and this is going to be FA GitHub, and save this. And if you go to the browser and reload this, you will see all the social media icons, the mobile number, email, LinkedIn and GitHub. Perfect. Now we can start adding the image at the right hand side. Now let's open the IntelliJ, and just after this div I'm going to create one more div with a class hero visual. Under this I'm going to create one more div with hero visual inner, and under this I'm going to create one more div with class hero visual frame, and under this I'm going to create an image tag, I have already added the image into my images folder inside the static folder. So if I expand this, okay, I haven't added the images. So let's go ahead and add the images. I have already copied some of the images from my original project. I'm going to just paste it here. So let's paste here. You can find these images in the description section of this video. Now inside this src, let's add /images/profile.png, and this is my profile picture. I will add the alt attribute to profile. Let's add the style, and I'm going to add the inline style width, which is 90%, height 90%, object fit, I'll set this to cover, and finally I'll add the border radius to 15 pixel. Now let's save this, and if you go to the browser, let me reload this. Boom, we should see my profile picture, right? Okay, from here let's go ahead and add a few more content. So just after this div, I'm going to create one more div with a class hero visual frame. Let's copy this and paste it. I'll just duplicate this, and after this div I'm going to create one more div with a class hero stats1, because we need to add those floating, we need to add, let me go to the original web page, and here we need to add these floating blocks. So for that I'm going to create those stats. So now let me reload this, and you can see we have these like buttons, like the blocks. So let's go back and create the stats. So first of all, I'm going to create one more div with a class hero stats icon. Under this I'm going to add the font awesome icon. Save this, and let me reload this. Not this one, let's go to our Chrome browser and reload this. We should see this font awesome icon. Let me add one more div. So just below this div I'm going to create one more div with hero stats text. Under this create a div with a class hero stats label. This is going to be a developer div hero stats value. I will add IBM. Okay, and save this, and if you reload this, not this one, if I reload this, we should see the label and the value. The label is developer and value is IBM. Perfect. So next what I'll do is I'm going to add the same things for two more. If you open the original web page, we have one more floating block, that is content creator and mentor. So let's also add these. So in order to add this, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and copy this entire div, copy this and paste it two more times. and we can change the bits that are required. I'll just change this to stats2, and the font awesome icon I need to change. This is going to be, let me remove this, font awesome solid, font awesome chalkboard user, and this is going to be a mentor, this is going to be top mat, and scroll down, and this is going to be stats3, and this font awesome icon I'll change this to font awesome solid, font awesome video, and this is going to be content creator. Let's add YouTube/Udemy. Perfect. And let's save this. And if you go to the browser, let me reload this. You can see we have this two more blocks, the content creator and the mentor. Perfect. Next, let's go back. Let's go to our IntelliJ, and just after this div we have this closing div, and after this I'm going to just create a one more div with a class scroll indicator. This is for if I open the original page, we have this scroll indicator, right? So we need to add this part. So for that I'm going to create a span inside of this. Let's add scroll down and create a div with a class scroll indicator line. Under this, create a one more div with scroll indicator dot, and save this. Open the browser, reload the web page. We should see that scroll down text as well as this line, the animation. Perfect. So now we have completed the hero section. Next, we can continue with the about section, projects, experience, achievements, and contact. Let's open the IntelliJ. Let's create a new fragment. Open the project explorer. Under the fragments folder, create a new file, about.html. Let's go to the hero.html. I'm going to copy the first 3 lines. Copy this, and inside the about.html, let's paste it. Let me close the Thymeleaf block tag as well as HTML. Inside this, first of all, I'll just go ahead and reference this Thymeleaf, and I'm going to change this to about section. About section. Inside the home.html, I'll just copy this and duplicate this. This is going to be about. Let's add about, and this is going to be an about section. Perfect. And save this. Now let's go to the about.html. Inside this, I'm going to create a new element which is section. Let's add the class section and about. Also, I'll add the ID which is going to be an about. Inside the section, let's create a div with a class container, and inside the container, let's create one more div with a class section title container. I will create a one more div with a class about container. Perfect. And inside this div, I'm going to create an heading tag with a class section title. Add the text about me. Just below this heading tag, let's create a paragraph with a class section subtitle. I'll just add the text. If you go to the original web page, scroll down, I'll just copy this and I'll paste it. Perfect. And now let's go to the browser and reload the web page. You can see we have this about me section. Also, we should see the text. Looks like the text is not displaying. Let me about me and section subtitle. Looks like the text is not okay. Let it be, we can fix it later. Okay, but for now let's add the about container, and inside this about container I'm going to create a one more div with a class about content, and below this create a one more div with a class about tagline my background. This is the text that I'm going to add. Next I'm going to create an h3 tag. I'll add the class about heading, and the text I'm going to add developer by profession, teacher by passion. Feel free to change as per your needs. Okay. Next I'm going to create a paragraph with a class about text. So I'll just duplicate this for 3 times, and if you go to the original web page, I just have to copy this and paste it. Similarly, let's copy the second paragraph and I'll paste it here. And also we have third paragraph. Let's go back and copy this, paste it and save this. Perfect. Now let's open the browser and reload this. We should all those changes. Perfect. You can see my background and developer by profession and teacher passion, and also I am able to see all the paragraphs. And just below this we wanted to create these technologies, the tools and technologies that I'm aware of. Okay, so let's go back, and what I'll do is I'll just open the IntelliJ, and below this, just after this paragraph tag, I'll just add a text for, let me add skills. Under this I'm going to create a div with a class skills container. Under this I'm going to just create a one more div skill item. Under this let's create one more div with a class skill icon. Under this let's create the font awesome tag, Java. And next after this div I'm going to create a one more div with skill name, that is going to be Java, right? So let's save this and let's go to the browser and reload this. We should see the Java technology. You can see similarly we have to add rest all of the tools and technologies. Okay, so let me go ahead, and we have this skill item, so just copy this and paste it, and let's change the bits that are required. So first of all I need to change this font awesome icon. This is going to be font awesome code, and this is going to be Spring Boot, right? Similarly, I'll just add one more block and I'll change this to font awesome JS, which is nothing but JavaScript. Add one more block. We can add the React, and this is going to be React, and let's add one more, which is for SQL, which is nothing but a database. Let's change this to FAS font awesome database. This is going to be SQL. Add one more. We need to add MySQL. So for this, let's change this to FA solid server. This is going to be MySQL. Let's add one more. We will add AWS. So this is going to be font awesome solid, font awesome cloud, AWS, and add one more item. This is for Git, and the font awesome icon, I'll change this to font awesome solid, font awesome code hyphen branch. Perfect. Let's save this and open the browser and reload this. We should see all the icons. Boom. Java, Spring Boot, JavaScript, React, SQL, MySQL, AWS, and Git. Perfect. And next, after this div, I'm going to create a one more div with a class about visual. I'm going to create one more class about image container, and inside this I'm going to create a one more div with a class about image background, and just below this I'll create an image tag, and the source which is present inside the slash images slash hero section. I have already copied that image, and this is going to be about class about image. And after this div, I'm going to create a one more div with a class about decorations, and let's add the div with a class about decoration. Copy this and paste it the 2 times. Okay, now let's save this. With this, let's go to the browser and reload this. We should see the image. Reload this again. Boom, we get the image. Perfect. All right, so with this, now we have completed the about section. Now we can go ahead and complete the projects. Let's open the IntelliJ, and first let's create a new fragment for the projects. Open the project explorer. Under the fragments, create a new file, projects.html, and let's go to the header.html and copy the first 3 lines, paste it. I'll close the Thymeleaf block attribute and HTML. Inside this, first of all, I'm going to reference this fragment inside our home.html. Copy this and paste it. I'll change this to projects. This is going to be, okay, first of all, let's go to the projects.html. Here I can change this to projects section, and here I'll change this to projects. This is going to be projects section. Perfect. Let's save this, and inside the projects.html, first let's create a new element with section, and I'll add the class section and projects. I will also add the ID, which is going to be projects. Inside this section, I'm going to create a div with a class container, and inside the container create a one more div with a class section title container, and I'll create one more div, and here this is going to be projects container. Inside this first div, I'm going to create a heading tag h2. I will add the class section title my work. I'll add a paragraph section subtitle. I will add the text explore some of my recent videos, courses on YouTube and Udemy. Perfect. Next, we have this one more div, which is projects container. Inside this, first of all, let's save this. And if you go to the browser and let's reload this, scroll down, let's reload this again. Okay, you can see my work and the subtitle. Perfect. And inside this projects container, I'm going to create a div with a class project card, and inside this create a one more div for the image project image. Let's create an image tag, and I have already added the images inside the images folder, so let's reference it here /images thumbnail 6.jpg, and let's add Udemy. And under this image tag, let's create one more div with a class project overlay, and I'm going to create a one more div with a class project tags, and under this let's create a span tag with a class project tag, and I'll add the text spring boot, and let's copy this and paste it multiple times, and we can change the bits that are required. Instead of spring boot, I'm going to add spring security, and let's add data JPA, MySQL, AWS, MongoDB, Postman. Perfect. Okay, so now we have added all the project tags. Next, we need to add the content, which is the project content. I'm going to create a div with a class project content, and under this I'll quickly add the heading tag h3. I'll add the class project title, and also I'm going to create one more paragraph tag with a class project description. Under this we can add the project description, and below this I'm going to create one more div with a class project links. We can reference to the project links. Under this I'm going to create an anchor tag, and I'll add the href link, but before that let's quickly add the class, which is project link, and I'm going to add the target to blank, and Inside this, I'm going to make use of the font awesome icon. GitHub, and this is the icon that we're going to add, and I'll add the text view code. Perfect. Just copy the same and paste it, and here I'm going to add the, instead of view code, I'm going to add join course, and I'll just copy this or cut this and I'll paste it after the text, right? And here I'll change this to font awesome arrow right, and save this. Of course, we have to add the project content and the title and description. Let's open the original web page and scroll down. Okay, so let's copy the title. I'll add the title here and the description, copy here and paste it. Perfect. Alright, so with this, let's save the file and open the browser, reload the web page. Let's reload one more time. We should see the project card, which has the tags, Spring Boot, security, JPA, MySQL, AWS, MongoDB, Postman, and the title as well as the description. And we have this view code link and also the join course. So now we have to reference to those anchor tags. So let's go back to our IntelliJ, and I have already copied to the clipboard. So the source code, I'm going to paste it. We get this source code from this link, and also we need to reference to the Udemy course. I'll just paste it here. Perfect. And save this, and let's reload this, and on click of this view code, it should open a new tab and we should see the source code. And also on click of this join course, it will take us to the Udemy. Perfect. Okay, so now we have created just one card. Now what I'll do is I'm going to just duplicate this. So we have this project card. Basically we need to add, if I open the original web page, there are 6 cards. So let's copy it for 6 times. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, paste it, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. And now I'm going to open this second card, and here I'll just need to change few things. Rest everything remains as it is, but only I need to change the images. This is going to be 1 JPG, and I'll just change this to maybe thumbnail 1, and I need to change the tags. Spring Boot remains as it is. This is going to be React, and this is going to be Tailwind CSS, and this is going to be MySQL remains same, and I'll just change this to clerk, and this is going to be a full stack, and I can remove this. Perfect. And now if I scroll down, we have the project description and all those things. Let's go back to our original web page, and I'll just copy the text, the title, replace this, and the description, copy this and paste it. Perfect. And next we need to add the source code link. So I'll just copy the source code link and I'll paste it here. And similarly for the course, I'll provide the YouTube video link. Paste it. Perfect. All right, so let's save this and just go ahead and reload this. Okay, this is the original page. let's go ahead and reload this. Perfect. We have updated for the second card as well. Similarly, we have to update it for third, fourth and fifth and sixth. So let's quickly do that. Okay, in interest of time, I have made the changes. So let's go ahead and reload the web page. Boom. Okay, we have updated for all the cards. So feel free to change the content as per your requirements. Perfect. So now we have completed the projects. Now we have the experience, achievements and contact. Let's open the IntelliJ and let's go ahead and create the one more fragment file. I'm going to call this experience.html. Let's open the projects.html and I'll just copy the first 3 lines and paste it. I'm going to close the Thymeleaf block attribute and the HTML tag. I'll just change this to experience section. And next, we need to reference this inside our home.html. Copy this and paste it. This is going to be experience. And I'll change the fragment file name experience, and this is going to be experience section. Perfect. And save this. Now inside the experience.html file, so what I'll do is, first of all, I'm going to create a new element tag which is section. I'll add the class section experience. I will add the ID which is going to be experience, and inside the section I'm going to create a div. I'm going to call this with container, and under the one more div I'm going to create under this container. Okay, so actually inside the container, let's create a div section title container, and under this create a one more div with a class timeline. Perfect. And inside this section title container, we need to create the title with a h2 heading tag section title experience, and let's create a paragraph with a class section subtitle. My professional journey and personal background. Perfect. Let's save this. And inside this timeline, I'm going to create a one more div. Before that, let's go back and I'm going to reload this. We can view the changes. Scroll down, you can see we have this text experience and my professional journey and personal journey. So not the personal background, this is going to be personal journey. And inside this timeline, I'm going to create a new div with a class timeline item. Under this, create a one more div with a class timeline icon, and create a font awesome icon, font awesome, solid font awesome, person, chalkboard, and under this create a one more div with a class timeline content, create a div with a class timeline date. We need the date, March 2024 till present. Similarly, let's create one more, actually heading 3. This is going to be timeline title, mentor, Java, React, and full stack. Perfect. I'm going to create a h4 with a class timeline subtitle, topmate, which is the text. Next, I'll add the paragraph, timeline, description, and inside this I can add the description. So to do that, let's go back to our original web page, scroll down. I'll just copy this text, the description, I'll just paste it. Perfect. So now we have created just one timeline, right? So if I go back, and this is the timeline item, and similarly we have to create a few more items. So let's go back to our web page and let me reload this first so we can see the changes. You can see, okay, so let me reload this again. Perfect. You can see now we have the description, subtitle, title, and the timeline date. Perfect. Next, we need to create these 3 as well, right? Let's go back to our IntelliJ. So in interest of time, what I'll do is I'm going to just copy and I'll paste the code so that we can save some time. Okay, I have added the code, and you can find this code in the description section of this video. So let's save this and open the browser, and let's reload this. Reload one more time. Boom. Now we have added all the timelines, right? Perfect. Super. Now the next part, we have this achievements. So let's go ahead and add this achievements as well. Open the IntelliJ and let me open the project explorer. Under the fragments folder, create a new file. This is going to be achievements. Let's open the experience.html, and I'm going to copy the first 3 lines and paste it. I will close the Thymeleaf block and HTML as well. First of all, I'm going to reference this file inside our home.html. This is going to be achievements, and let's add the, okay, before that let's go to the achievements, and this is going to be achievement section. Let's change the file name, the fragment file name. This is going to be achievements. This is also achievements. Perfect. Let's save this. Now let's open the achievements.html, and inside this we can start adding the code. First of all, I'm going to create a new element, section. I'll add the classes, section, achievements. I will also create the ID, which is going to be achievements. Make sure to write the correct spelling, and under this section create a new div with the class container, and under the container create a div with the class section title container, and under this one more div I'm going to create achievements container. Perfect. So inside this title container, let's create a heading tag h2. Let's add the class section title achievements, and I'm going to create a paragraph, section subtitle, recognitions and milestones I have reached along my journey. Okay, perfect. Next, under this achievements container, let's go ahead and create a div. I'm going to create a div with a class achievement card. Under this, we need the icon, so create a div achievement icon. Under this icon, I'm going to add the font awesome icon. Play. And after this div, create a h3 with a class achievement title. This is going to be 22k subscribers. Next, I'm going to create a paragraph with a class achievement description. We need to add the description, so let's open the original web page, scroll down, okay, copy this, paste it. Perfect. Let's open the web page and reload this. Scroll down, we should see the achievements. Let me reload this again. We should see the description. Perfect. All right, so now we have to duplicate this for 3 more times to complete the another few sections, another few cards. So let's go back and open the IntelliJ. So just to save some time, in interest of time, I'm just go ahead and replace this and I'll change the content. Okay, I've just added the 3 more cards. Now let's save this and open the web browser and reload this. Boom. We have added the 3 more cards, which is bookings on TopMate, premium courses and GitHub contributions. Perfect. So now we have completed the achievements. Next, we need to add the contact form. So let's complete that as well. Let's open the IntelliJ and open the project explorer. Under the fragments, create a new file, contact.html. Let's go to the header.html. Just copy the first 3 lines and paste it. I will close the Thymeleaf block and HTML. I'll change this to the fragment name, contact section. Now let's reference this inside our home.html. This is going to be a contact and the fragment name, the fragment file name, contact, and this is also going to be contact section. Perfect. Let's save this. Now open the contact.html. Let's create a element section with a class section contact. Let's add the ID contact. Under the section, create a div with a class container, and under the container, create a one more div with a class section title container. Create a one more div with a class contact container. Perfect. Under this div, I'm going to create a title and subtitle. So h2 section title, get in touch, paragraph section subtitle, have a project in mind or want to collaborate, let's talk. This is the text that I'm going to add. Perfect. Next, under the, okay, let's go back and verify it how it looks. So let's reload this. Reload one more time. Scroll down. Boom. Get in touch, have a project in mind or want to collaborate, let's talk. Perfect. And go back. Inside this div, we're going to create a one more div with a class contact info. Under this, we have this h3 and contact heading. Let's build something amazing together, and I'll add the paragraph with the text contact text. Under this, let's open the original web page. Just copy this and paste it. Perfect. So next we need to add these links. So for that, I'm going to create a div with a class contact links. Under this, I'm going to create an anchor tag, and I'll just add the phone number +91. Of course, this is not my mobile number. Class contact link, and under this create a div with a class contact link icon. We can add the font awesome icon, phone icon I'm going to add, and after this div create a one more div with a class contact link text, contact link label, which is going to be phone, span, contact link value, and I'm going to add the value, which is going to be perfect. Okay, so now we have added just the one part, which is the phone number. I can verify it. So let's reload this. Boom, we got this phone number. Similarly, also I need to add for email and this LinkedIn. What I'll do is let's go to the IntelliJ, just copy this and I'll paste it. So if you expand this, this is going to be an email address. So mail to, you can email me at bhushansc@gmail.com, and I'll change the font awesome icon. This is going to be envelope, font awesome envelope, and here this is going to be an email. Let's add the email address, bhushansc@gmail.com. Perfect. And the last anchor tag, this is going to be my LinkedIn profile. So I'm going to add my LinkedIn profile link, and just I'll make this target blank, and I'll change the font awesome icon to font awesome LinkedIn, and I'll add this text LinkedIn, and I'll just add my name Bhushan SC. Perfect. With this, now let's save this and reload the web page. We have added the links for email address as well as my LinkedIn profile. On click of this, it is going to open up the LinkedIn profile. Perfect. Next, we need to create the form for the contact form. Let's open the IntelliJ, and just after this div, I'm going to create one more div. So we have this. Let me scroll up. Let's see whether. Okay, perfect. After this div, I'm going to create one more div with a class contact form, and under this create a form and the action attribute. Later we're going to add the action attribute, and method. This is also going to be a post method. Under the form, create a new div with a class form group, label form label, this is going to be a name and your name. Let's add the input element, input field, input form control, and this is an input text form control. Let's add the attribute, the name attribute, which is going to be name, and I will add the ID, which is also going to be name, and placeholder John Doe, and that's it. We have added the name, ID, placeholder, and class type. Perfect. Next, I'll just copy the same and paste it. So I can change this to email. Type, it is going to be an email. ID, it is also going to be an email. Name, it is going to be an email. And label, your email. Placeholder, I'll just add John at example.com. Perfect. And next I'm going to just copy it again and paste it, and this is going to be an message. I'll change this to your message, the name, message, ID, message, placeholder, type your message here, type your message here, and this is going to be a text area, and I'm just okay, this is not a type, can remove this. Let's close the text area, and after this we need to create the button. Create a button with a class btn primary. Let's add the text send message with the icon, font awesome, paper plain, and this is going to be of type submit. Save this. Perfect. Now let's open the browser and reload this. We should see a nice form, the contact form. Reload this. Boom, we got this, your name and the text box, your email, the text box, the message, description, and send message button with a paper plane icon. Perfect. Now the last part what we need to do is we need to add the footer. So let's add that as well. Let's open the project explorer and under the fragments folder create a new file, footer.html. Let's open the contact.html, copy the first 3 lines and paste it. I will close the Thymeleaf block attribute and the HTML as well. And first of all, I'm going to change this to footer section, and inside this home.html, let's reference to the footer and just copy this and paste it. This is going to be a footer, the fragment file name, which is going to be footer. This is going to be footer section. Let's save this. Perfect. Now let's open the footer.html. Inside this, create a new element, footer, with a class footer, and under this create a div with a class container, and under this create a div with a class footer container, and create a one more div with a class footer bottom, and inside this container I'm going to create a one more div with a class footer brand, and I'll create a one more div footer links container. Let's duplicate this. Okay, so now what I'll do is, first of all, inside this footer brand I'm going to create an anchor tag, and I'll add the class footer logo, and this is going to be Bhushan Sirgur, my name, and I'll just add this hash, and after this I'm going to create a paragraph with that class footer text. Let's go to the original web page, just copy this entire description and paste it. Perfect. Next, after this paragraph I'm going to create a div with a class footer social, and inside this create an anchor tag with a class social link, and href I'm going to add my phone number +91. Again, this is not my phone number. I'm going to add the font awesome icon, phone alt. Okay, we have added this. Now let's duplicate this 4 times, and let's add the email address for the second anchor tag, mail to bhushan@gmail.com. Feel free to email me, and I'm going to change the font awesome icon, which is envelope, and the third anchor tag I'm going to reference it to my LinkedIn profile. So let's add my LinkedIn profile, and I'll change the font awesome profile, the font awesome icon, LinkedIn, and I'll just add one more attribute here, that is going to be a target blank. Next, the last, reference it to GitHub profile. Just change this to GitHub profile, target blank, and this is going to be font awesome GitHub. Perfect. Next, we have this containers, the footer links container. Let's save this, and if you open the browser, reload this, scroll down, boom, we got this name and the text as well as the links. Next, inside this footer links container, I'm going to add a h3 tag with a class footer heading quick links. Let's add a div with a class footer links, and under this create a new anchor tag with a class footer link. Let's add the href for home. Under this create an font awesome icon, chevron, right, paste it multiple times, and I can change this to about. This is going to be my work, experience, and the last one is achievements. Now we can start changing this to achievements, and this is going to be about. This is going to be okay. This is going to be an about. This is projects and experience and achievements. Awesome. So now we can change the bits that are required. The font awesome, I'll change this to font awesome chevron, right? Basically I'll just copy the same and paste it for all of this. Okay, everything is already remains same. So let's save this and let's go back to our browser and reload this. Let's reload it again. Boom, we got this quick links, home, about, my work, experience and achievements. Similarly, we also need to create one more quick links for social media profiles. Okay, let's go back our IntelliJ, and we have this one more, so a footer links container. So under this, let's create the quick links. So basically I'll just copy the same thing, copy this entire thing, paste it, and this is going to be social links, the quick links, and let's change this to YouTube and Topmate. Next, Udemy and LinkedIn. Perfect. Now I'll just quickly start adding the links to my social media profiles. So let me add it first for YouTube. Perfect, this is my YouTube channel. And next I'll add it for the GitHub, the Topmate. So let's add it for Topmate. And next let's add the link for Udemy. This is Udemy. And next let's add for LinkedIn. Also I'm going to add it for GitHub, and let's add the GitHub link, https://github.com/scbhushan05. This is my GitHub profile, and save this. Next, if I go to the browser, let's reload this, reload one more time. We got this quick links: YouTube, Topmate, Udemy, LinkedIn and GitHub. The last thing is we need to add this copyright content at the very bottom. So let's go back to our IntelliJ and we have this section footer bottom. Let's add the copyright content. I'll add the paragraph, and for the copyright content I'm going to use the HTML attribute &copy 2025 Bhushan Sirgur, all rights reserved, and save this and reload this. Perfect. Our entire website is created. We have the hero section, which is the profile image as well as the description, and next we have the projects, and we have this, not the projects, the about section. Next we have the projects, and we have this experience and achievements, and also the contact form. But right now this contact form does not work. What we can do is we can make this functional. So whenever if someone try to contact us, if they fill the form and when they click on this send message, the email should be triggered to our registered email address, and we should receive the email. In order to do that, we're not going to make any of the functionalities in the backend. We don't have to use the Java mail functionality to trigger the emails. That will be complicated just for the portfolio. In order to achieve this, we are going to use a service called Web3 Forms. So Web3 Forms, and just open this Web3 Forms, and all we need to do is you just need to register your email address, and this will gives us the access key, and that access key we need to add it to our form. That's it. It's pretty simple. You don't have to create an account, you don't have to do anything. All you just need to do is just go ahead and sign up, just add your email address, and that will give us in your registered email address you are going to receive the API key. Okay, and those API keys we need to add it inside our form. So first of all, I'll just go ahead and inside the contact.html, at the top, not the top, we have this form tag, and here we have this action. So I'm going to just add their API. So just for the action, I'm going to just add this api.web3forms.com/submit. So whenever we submit this API is going to trigger. We're going to make an API call to this API with a post request. And in order to work this, all of these input tags should contain the name attribute. So that is why we have added this name attribute. For email, name, and text area, we have added this. Based on this, it is going to submit the values, and it should also contain the submit button. And next, if you scroll down, you will see this, how you can how it will work. Just in 3 steps it is going to work. You just need to get the access key, and that access key you need to add it inside the input tag. Inside the form, you just need to create this input tag, and you need to add this access key here. So let's copy this, and just below this inside the form I'm going to add it. Make sure we have to replace this with the access key. So I'm not going to add it here in front of the video. You guys just go ahead and replace this access key with your access key. Perfect. Alright, I have just added the access key. So now we can test it. Let's go to the browser. I'm going to just refresh this. So let's refresh multiple times. Okay, now I'm going to add the email address, the name. Let's say test, your email address, test@example.com. This website is super cool. Okay, now I'm going to click on this send message. Boom, you can see form submitted successfully. Thank you, your form has been submitted successfully. We will reply to continue to soon. Okay, and if you click on this go back, you will back to your web page. Now we can check our inbox and we can verify that. I have opened my inbox and you will see notifications, and if you click on this, you will see hello, a new form has been submitted on your website, details below, the name, test@example.com. This website is super cool. Perfect. Alright, so now our contact form is working as expected. Let's go back to our IntelliJ, and so now we have created the complete portfolio with all of the necessary functionalities. Okay, so now if you look at this home.html, it is looking neat and clean and modular because we have not added everything inside this home.html. Instead, we are going to create a separate fragments, and those fragments we are linking here. In the future, if you wanted to add any other sections, you can just create a new fragment and you can reference it here.